It's our 111st episode, and you know what that means. The following podcast contains spoilers for The Way Back. You have been warned.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of KFR News Radio. This is your host, Glenjamin Button, along with your host, Miguel Magusto. God, has it felt like a long time since I've done that.
It has been a long time. It's been a long time. Your boy was on vacation.
Mm-hmm. And your boy was on staycation watching your house.
Not even staycation because you were still working, but you were watching my house. But yeah, it has been a while, you know. Mm-hmm. Didn't want to rush back into it, so
how's the beach? Was it good?
I mean, I hate the beach, so
absolutely.
It was bad. Mm-hmm. The beach was bad. There was a pool there. I also hate public pools, but this one was okay because it wasn't super crowded.
Okay. Yes, kill that person who loves public pools. Yes, Dr. Son Steve Brule, Dr. Steve Brule, whatever his Instagram name is, I forget what it is. He enjoyed the pool, but did not enjoy the ocean. But yeah, it was good. How was your little time? Well, it sounds like he's rearing up to actually be your son. Holy crap!
Yes.
Mine was good. Peanut was a doll. Milkshake warmed up to me super fast. Did not expect that.
Me neither.
So, needless to say, your animals absolutely loved me, and I loved them. And I love staying at your house watching all these freaking movies. I tried to watch one a day, if not more. That first 2 days I watched a lot.
What's the count you got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 total. Ooh. Which, I mean, it's not bad. And then, of course, I watched The Way Back just today. More. Yeah, guaranteed. Yeah. And I was, all that time, too, whenever I let Peanut out, I would, sit on that picnic table and just read The Hobbit. So that was really cool. So I got, 100 pages deep, just letting your dog out.
Nice. I read The Hobbit when I was in, 7th grade, so...
Well, that's as far as my reading level can go, so I'm trying my best, okay?
No, yeah, I got you. So what'd you watch?
So we started out with Boy, Taika Waititi movie. Very, very good. I love that man and just everything that he does, and you can't say anything else. And then, of course, I watched Butt Boy following up after Boy, the sequel to Boy, of course. It is...
Spiritual sequel.
Of course. And God, that movie, I'm so glad it was made, but man, was it wild.
Oh, yeah.
It was a miracle that movie got made. Obviously not
really
a sequel to Boy. But
yeah. The best part about it is how high quality it is for such a crazy concept.
It's just like a YouTube idea that, I mean, I think it wasn't it? It was.
I'm not sure. I don't know the history behind it, but
it was originally a sketch or something like that, and then it became a full-fledged thing.
Yeah.
An hour and a half long movie about this cop chasing a man who can just insert a whole universe in his ass.
Yes. I believe the trailer was one of my plugs in an episode last year, and then I have since watched it 3 times.
As one should.
Because it is great. It is just wonderful. It is so stupid. It's great.
And then I fucked up by not watching a third movie that had the title Boy in it. That's my own fault, but I will get over myself eventually, which was Caroline. I watched that. It was great, actually.
Coraline.
That's what I said.
Coraline.
I know I said Caroline, but whatever. Coraline. And that was a great movie. I actually kind of want to read the book now because a lot of people were going crazy on Reddit and everything because I looked up a lot of movie details and how in-depth a lot of stuff was and how much crazier the book is. But that's what a lot of people say. They're always the book's better. It's
people always say that, though.
Yeah. But so I do want to read that and give it a try. And I just read that author's, one of the other, he just made another, not made, but American Gods. So that was from the same author. So then I watched Let Me In. That was basically a American, was it American remake?
American remake of the Swedish film.
Let the Right One In.
Yeah, exactly.
Which that was good. It was really crazy. a couple of the special effects are a little dated now, but I mean, regardless, Chloe Grace Moretz will fucking murder you in whatever movie she's most likely in. So be careful.
If I remember correctly, they weren't bad, but they were kind of cheesy because I saw it in theaters. So they were cheesy for the time as well. But that movie was also not expecting to do that much because it was R-rated and everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if they cut corners on stuff like that. But it's still a great movie regardless.
Absolutely. And then I watched The King of Comedy, which is like one of the only few films left that I haven't watched of Scorsese. And there's a lot of inspiration from the Joker, or the Joker was very inspired by this movie. You could see.
Yeah. See, all the non-Scorsese fans, they're just like, oh, Joker just looks like Taxi Driver. Like, there is a movie that Scorsese made called King of Comedy.
Yeah.
Like,
it's this.
Yeah, it's that. Like, I could tell like who knew their stuff just by who would say Taxi Driver versus King of Comedy. King of Comedy is my favorite Scorsese movie. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I think I probably watched this way too late in my movie career. So if I watched this a while ago, I would have probably loved it a lot more. And it's crazy about the Joker too, that they got Robert De Niro. So it was basically like, this is like full inspiration from that. It's like he even got the dude to play the whole, oh my God, the Tonight host. After that, I watched Hero with Jet Li. Dear God, was that movie beautiful.
Was that your first time watching it?
I think so. I remember watching videos about the movie, but I've never watched the movie specifically.
Legitimately, Hero in theaters is in my top 10 movie experiences of all time.
I can imagine.
The sound design, the colors projected on the big screen was absolutely breathtaking. Me, my dad, and I think Colin, my friend Colin, went to see it. If it wasn't Colin, it was my friend Danny. And we all absolutely loved it. It was such a great film. Yeah, it still is a great film because it's still around. But.
It really is. I gave that a solid 5 because holy crap. This is like this is not talking bad about it. This is like the Marvel movies before like they were Marvel, or like before Marvel became a thing, because it's just so supernatural the way they did it. It's like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon too, like where they just kind of fly everywhere and everything. But like the cool thing about these stories is that they're always told from a story perspective. So it's like these things happened like in somebody's like view. So it's not, these actual things weren't actually done, like them flying across. It's just how crazy the fights were. And so like this is the supernatural like way of fightings and stuff like that, and the dreams, and like how the tales, they're the tall tales, and this is how they depict them. It was really cool. The colors, dear God, and just the choreography and everything. It was so good.
It's so good.
I remember saying that I was going to blow past these, but I can't not talk about.
Now you're reminiscing.
Yeah, it was such a good week. Like I picked solid movies.
Yeah, you did. I was jealous.
The one after that I watched was WALL-E, which is like one of the few Pixar's before like 2013 that I've never watched. Dear God, I love WALL-E and Eve. They're so cute. And you can't change my mind on anything else. I wish there was another. I wish the only problem that I had with it was I wish it was half an hour longer. Yeah, that was it. Then after that, I watched Sweeney Todd, which is a little musical that I've been waiting to get around to. And it was good. It was probably one of the better ones that I've watched. Not that I've watched too many. After that, I watched Fatherhood, which honestly, my mind is blanking super hard.
Kevin Hart.
Oh, yeah. That's why, sadly. No, it's like, it was actually pretty good. It was better than I was expecting with Kevin.
Is that a movie or a documentary?
It's a movie.
Okay.
It's not bad in any way. I like Kevin doing drama more than I like him in comedies. And
it has to be the right character in comedy. Like I feel like he's strong in Jumanji because he's playing other people. Especially Jumanji 2 when he plays Danny Glover. Like a Danny Glover version of himself. It's really funny.
This is also like the point in his career for me where like I think he would do better just doing serious, like Adam Sandler or Jim Carrey. I think he'd be doing better just doing serious stuff now.
He's in the American remake of The Untouchables, the French film we talked about. And I mean that's still a comedy, but I would say it's more drama than it is comedy.
Yeah.
And so I'm really just curious to see if the bad reviews of that are just because it's not the French original.
Maybe. I mean, yeah. I do want to see him continuing forward doing more dramatic films, because he's great, and he could be great if he does more of them, I think. But after that, I watched Luca, which was underwhelming, in my opinion, for a Pixar movie.
Pixar movies in general are getting bad. I remember I saw somewhere in a post that it was a headline that said, when did Pixar movies start becoming subpar? Mm-hmm. And then someone responded to that, since you were no longer 10. It was like, I saw Toy Story 3 when I was 21,
we
and I loved
watched it. Coco in theaters, and it was one of the greatest movies.
It's not it's like for any other animated movie, animated studio, I would 100% agree with that sentiment. But Pixar has had a way of transcending age for its films, and lately, like Soul, I feel like is overrated. I think
I still have to watch Soul.
I'm glad a lot of people do like Soul, but I thought it was kind of their weakest film, probably since the last Cars sequel.
Yeah.
And Onward was pretty good, but it still wasn't like mind blowing like Coco was or anything. So I haven't seen Luca yet, so I can't speak on that. But.
Obviously, it looked good. Every Pixar movie looks good, but I mean, there's just with the plot, it just genuinely wasn't all captivating or anything like that. Italy looked fantastic. Like I said, looks good. Story, you didn't like captivate. Nothing like Coco did, at least.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's it. The Way Back was my last one.
Yeah, we really sped right through those.
I really did not mean to do that.
So I watched, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies and 4 TV shows in the past 2 weeks. Of course, I started and ended the past 2 weeks with rewatching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia in its entirety.
Holy crap.
Because it's such a good show. And I mean, I watched it while working, so it's not like I was focusing on it the whole time.
Okay.
But, I love that show. Even before these past 2 weeks, I had seen every episode. It's just a great show. It still holds up. Definitely, the thing I like about it, and I think a lot of people probably give it crap for its older seasons, and rightfully so. They weren't exactly like the kindest PC show.
Yeah.
But like it got to the point where they started, or they like stopped saying the R word. In one episode, they have a clip show episode where they bleep out the R word, but not the word fuck.
Nice.
So you could see, like, even though their characters get worse and worse as time goes on, you could see how the writers got more mature as time went on, which it's really cool to see how they made their characters be worse, but without punching down at minorities and oppressed people. So I thought that was really cool. I'm probably overthinking it, but it was just really cool to see in those 2 weeks. Then I watched the second season of The Greatest Show Ever Made. I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson.
Yeah, I have to get on that.
It is fucking hilarious. Oh my god. It's hard to make me laugh my ass off at 8 a.m. This show did that. And so then after I watched it the first time, I rewatched the first season and then rewatched the second season.
I told you were going to do that too.
Yeah. I mean, they're real short. They're
like 20 minutes. Not even.
They're 15 to 17 minutes, and each season's only 6 episodes. So you can watch the entire thing in less than each season in less than half an hour. Both seasons in only 3 hours. So yeah, check that out. Then I watched, I finished watching Mare of Easttown. It kind of has a lackluster ending, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's still really good. I really liked it. It was cool to see Pennsylvania in all of its bleakness. But I feel like the mystery itself is kind of just rushed, and it's more of a character study, which is fine. But I was kind of hoping
when you murder the dirter.
murder to the dirter. But yeah, I was hoping for more of a intense mystery than just a character study, but it's still really good.
Mm-hmm.
Then I watched Werewolves Within. We did a trailer reaction to that movie. It's got Sam Richardson, who is also in I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
and Milana Weintraub, the AT&T girl, who is also a comedian. She's a really funny comedian, but most people know her as the AT&T girl.
Yep.
And
she directs a lot of stuff too.
She does direct stuff. I don't know her exact filmography right now, but
a lot of them are the funny enough AT&T commercials.
Yeah, and the actually Werewolves Within was directed by Josh Rubin of College Humor fame.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that he was a director, so that was cool to see. But yeah, it's a really funny horror comedy that doesn't take itself too seriously. Yeah, I think, if anything, the ending feels rushed, and it kind of relies on tropes at the end, but it's it's a fun time. I do suggest people see that. Then I rewatched Bo Burnham Inside. That's my third viewing of it.
It's so good, man.
It is so good, and Caitlin hadn't seen it, so I made her watch it.
Well, she needs to.
Yeah, she enjoyed it as well.
Heck yeah.
Then I watched Career Opportunities, which you watched a few weeks ago with Jennifer Connelly. I did not like it at all.
I don't blame you.
I thought it had moments.
Yeah, I think that's what I said too.
Yeah, it had some really funny moments, but they were so few and far between, and it ended up being like the longest 88 minutes of my entire life. It's there's not enough there for a full film.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
And the big payoff is just Jennifer Connelly on a little pony.
Exactly. Then I watched a docuseries, true crime docuseries, because I'm obsessed with those. And also I'm obsessed with Ireland, which is this one takes place in Ireland. Sophie: A Murder in West Cork, and this one is kind of infuriating.
Oh yeah, what happened?
Yeah. Well, let's just say the first episode is the strongest episode in my opinion, because it tells you exactly what happened and then ends on a cliffhanger where one of the people that they've been interviewing, who you don't suspect it to be at all, is the primary suspect. And you're just like, holy shit. And then it kind of just like repeats itself for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because the person it ends up being, which it's still technically an unsolved crime in Ireland, but Ireland has very specific laws, kind of like America, but because America is run slightly different, it doesn't always turn out this way, where they needed like evidence without any thread of shred of doubt and everything, which is how America is. But like this one was just like, the dude was just like bragging about it to people or like confessing it because he did feel bad about it, but like,
yeah,
it was so frustrating. And then they couldn't charge him because there wasn't really any evidence, even though he was just telling people he did it and
walking around telling people he did it.
Yeah, and he wasn't bragging about it. I shouldn't have used that word. He was just like saying he felt bad about it and everything. It's just it's a really weird thing. It's a very interesting docuseries. I suggest people watch it, but it was just frustrating, just being like,
this man's saying he did it.
And he's still walking around West Cork.
Yep.
Then I watched Zola, A24 film, the only reason I went to go see it, with Taylor Page and Riley Keough. I have a 60-second review on our YouTube channel, so you can check that out. And then I watched The Way Back. That's the longest we've ever taken on.
That's the longest, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot one that I watched, that I literally watched yesterday.
Oh, what was that? Just say it real quick.
It was Resident Evil Infinite Darkness on Netflix. It was only 4 episodes,
Gotcha.
and that made me sad.
Yeah, sounds like it'd be sad. But yeah, I think we should just skip news for this week. I don't know if you have anything.
I actually don't even have any, so it's perfect
me neither.
for me.
So let's get into The Way Back.
If you are serious about making a run for it, I'm with you.
We must keep going. The snow is blinding us. Don't you see? This is perfect. They'll never find us like this.
We're lost. protection. We can barely feed ourselves.
All right. The Way Back. Siberian Gulag escapees travel 4,000 miles by foot to freedom in India. Directed by Peter Weir. It stars Jim. Is it Sturgis? Sturgis. Eddie Harris, Colin Farrell, and how do you say her name? I've never been able to say her first name right.
Saoirse.
Yeah. I always say Sorcy.
Yeah,
she's real thorsy.
That's what I did until I learned a little bit of Irish spelling.
And Mark Strong's in there as well.
Mark Strong is in there for a hot minute. Gustav Skarsgård, who I just didn't recognize at first, and then I did recognize him. He's in it.
What?
Continue.
Alexandru Potoshin as Thomas, and Dragos Bukur.
Yeah.
Well, that's the rest of the people in the main 6 people that there are. So yeah. I picked this movie. It's kind of just been chilling there on Netflix, or not Netflix, Amazon there for a while. I'm like, I should watch this. I should watch this.
Yeah,
I should watch this. There's like a couple of other things that are just sitting there. So I decided, as a platform that we have here, we should do it. And Indeed. Here we are.
Yes. That is how this podcast works.
Gloriously. So, without even knowing, this was actually, and Peter Weir has done a lot of stuff that I liked in the past.
Yeah, same here.
This was actually his last movie that he's done, as at least as far as directing goes.
He's still alive, just in case people were worried. But he's also the kind of director that has made things few and far between. Before this, he had a short film collection, which I'm sure all those films were made before the year they were released.
Yeah.
And then in 2003, 7 years before The Way Back, he had Master and Commander, Far Side of the World, which almost got picked on a roulette week for us. He's kind of, he takes his time with films, which more power to him.
Absolutely.
I honestly would prefer that instead of people like... I like Stephen Sondheim, but he releases 1 to 2 movies every year, and I'm just like, calm down, dude.
How do you function?
Exactly.
There was no real reason for this. It's kind of just been a movie that's been sitting there. I'm like, you know what, maybe we should hop on that. And
it's also a movie that I've almost watched 5 times.
Yeah, it's got a nice little crew of people too, so why not? The thing that I hate about this movie so far is just the poster for it.
It's a bad poster.
It's a bad poster. It just looks like a family trip gone wrong, if any.
Yeah, really.
And Colin Farrell's not even in the biome that he's supposed to be in the poster.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Yeah, and in the poster, he's in the desert, but he leaves before they even leave Russia, which is, you can count Siberia as a desert, but it's a cold desert. Yeah. He's straight up in the Sahara in this one.
Yeah, he's literally just a sand dune behind him. He's like, wow, that's a bright sand dune. That's it. But other than that, I didn't have any expectations for this movie either.
Me neither.
I don't know how to start off with this.
I think the best way to start off is at the beginning.
Just like the journey we're about to embark on.
Yes. The thing I really appreciate about this film is that it's not like your average film where all these foreign people just speak English. Mm-hmm. There's a reason. It starts off with them speaking Russian because they are dealing with Russian officers, and then they continue to speak Russian until they meet people who are not Russian but from a different country. Like Ed Harris is American. Mm-hmm. Jim Sturgis is Polish. I already said Ed Harris. Colin Farrell is Russian. He's Russian. So then they speak English together because throughout the world, English is the
easiest tongue to. There's a word for it.
It's not the easiest, but it's the most common second language. Most common second language throughout the world, I believe. I could be wrong about that. It may be Mandarin or Spanish, but it's up there where people in Europe, like German people, go to France, and if they don't speak French, they're like, speak English, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Even though Europeans are smarter than us and probably know 4 languages.
Absolutely. So, well, it's because we know the easiest language. It's hard to learn after that.
Easy. It's debatable whether or not it's easiest, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. They even say it's like a league of fuck. What do they say?
League of Nations.
A League of Nations
which
at
is,
one point.
Which is what the nations that got together to punish Germany, I believe, were called in World War One. They were called the League of Nations, so it was kind of a nod to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just really appreciated that it wasn't just English right off the bat. Like, there was a reason for them to all be speaking English rather than just them. And then when people of a similar nationality got together, they spoke that tongue. Like, there's some Polish in there. There's actually, I think it's just Polish, because I think the other guy is like Belarusian or something like that. I don't know exactly, but I just liked that they didn't just do
knowing right off the bat.
Yeah. Like Child 44, a Tom Hardy movie that came out about a serial killer in the Soviet Union. Everyone in that is Russian, but they speak English with a Russian accent. And
nice.
That's just kind of it's
goofy.
I get why they do that, because unfortunately it is more marketable that way, but it's silly. And this had a reason for it. But in my opinion, I feel like this was slow in the wrong places and too quick in the right place, or in the wrong places. Whereas like the places that they should have taken their time to breathe and let things happen were like really rushed. And then scenes where they're just walking all over the place, which should have been in like a little montage, were stretched out forever, I feel like. So it's really weird pacing-wise, because there's parts where like 20 minutes go by real fast, and then the next 10 take forever to get
Yeah,
get
especially
through.
when it's like a 2 hour and 13-minute movie.
Yeah.
Just leaving Russia, it was an hour, and I thought after that, I was like, wow, is the movie ending already? But no, they had like another hour and a half to go. I was like,
yeah, because they had to get through Mongolia and Tibet,
Tibet
and then to India.
I was like, Jesus, oh man, that was fast. Oh dear Lord.
Yeah.
And like that, knowing that how many places are in between the start and the end, I was like, it definitely paced itself a little goofy in certain spots. And like the desert made sense because it's a long desert. You're just dry. You don't have food, so it's kind of like straps you in for like that long haul of just. You feel bad when you take a sip of water or something like that because these guys are dying to death.
Yeah, dying to death.
So like that's one of the things that I kind of liked about this is like if you are like sitting there eating or anything, it kind of like made you feel bad in a way. Not like genuinely like
it did a good job
to
at
give
showing
them my food. But.
Yeah, it did a good job at showing their struggle.
Yeah, and even like a solid job to like the makeup departments for like making these guys look fucking terrible.
It made me jealous because I made a movie like a survival-esque movie lately, and obviously we didn't have the budget for really good makeup. We did the best we could with what we had, but like I was like, I wish we had that instead.
Like, yeah, I really like the attention to detail that instead of just making Eddie Harris's like head fully red, he had like a tan line or like a burn line from when he was wearing the hat so much.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like I thought they would have like accidentally done that or something, but they did it. And I was proud of them. Like
really good detail.
Go makeup department, you go. And then everybody's fat feet. Nice job. That was gross from them walking so much and being sunstroked and everything. I got thirsty just thinking about all that. Wow. But yeah, I mean, like I was saying, like it is a very long movie, and a lot of those parts could have been at least shortened for certain points because it is a long journey.
And I also didn't like how a lot of the character development was done through exposition. Like you don't really see these characters. The real person you see their story play out is Ed Sturgis, and he is the lead of this movie. So it makes sense why he's the one that gets more care.
Yeah.
But everyone else literally just has a scene of them telling them what they did and where they come from, and it just kind of felt lazy in a way.
Yeah, I don't know if I liked it. It felt more realistic, like people were telling their stories. It felt more grounded. Realistic. Yeah. But I'm not a fan. And the way they did it was they had her face that I can't pronounce her first name.
Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse.
It's Saoirse like inertia.
Yeah, they basically had Saoirse just walking around like gossiping with everybody and like telling each other stories.
Yeah, so it was kind of lame.
Well, at least Eddie Harris's.
Yeah,
for sure.
I thought the acting was really good in this. We got a lot of big names: Jim Sturgis, Ed Harris, Colin Farrell, Saoirse Ronan, Gustav Skarsgård, because the Skarsgård family is the most talented family in the world.
For real.
Mark Strong, obviously. A lot of great performances from people we know already. But also, in a way, the star factor kind of made it less... It made you connect less because you're just like, oh, this is, even though this is based on a true story, you're like, oh, yeah, I know Jim Sturgis isn't dying right now. I know Colin Farrell's not dying. Ed Harris, yeah, he's still not dead. He's just a badass.
He is a badass.
Who punched James Cameron in the face one time, and I love that
Smart
story.
man.
Yes, smart man indeed. But yeah, they all deliver great performances. It's just their faces and names are so well known that you're just like, you know, it'd be one thing if one character there's in movies there's a good balance of how many really famous people you should have versus not famous.
Yeah.
And I feel like this tipped too far in the really famous section. And it just kind of made the exposition scenes that much more unbearable because you're just like, this is good, but it's still kind of lazy. You know, they're delivering it well, but I feel like this could be more impactful in certain ways. And it's just, more than anything, it's just a frustrating movie because it could have been like amazing, but it's just okay in the long run.
Yeah, I think it could have been this was like the biggest factor for me. It could have been solid if it was a minute 45 easy.
Oh, absolutely. I think I agree with that.
Or not a minute, 40 hour 45.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
Yeah, if it was just a trailer, I'm good. That's it. That's all I needed. Just that alone. I love Ed Harris. I just love almost anything he's in.
Yeah.
So I thought he was great. Colin Farrell's character was like a little childish, but you get the story for him. He's just been like a prisoner and a thief the whole time.
Yeah, he played it really well.
Yeah,
but
he was good.
He's definitely like at the end of his character's arc. Mm-hmm. You kind of feel the same way about him you did the first time, even though they try to make you like him a little bit more.
Yeah.
And to his credit, he was not as shitty during the journey as I thought he would be.
Yeah.
It's I don't know where I was going with that, but he did play it really well.
Yeah, he left you feeling the exact same way.
Yes, which is it's not his fault. That's a writing issue.
But honestly, I don't have too much to talk about. I think the main thing was, I mean, the acting was good, and I liked the makeup, and really how it made you kind of feel like you were really part of the journey, like mainly because it was just long, and it felt like you were walking the 4,000 miles with these guys.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would stay in Tibet. I would have just stayed in Tibet. Those guys were chill as hell.
Oh yeah,
like
they're just like, yo, dude, what's up?
They're like, yo, you want some tea? And I was like, hell yeah. Can I sleep in this pile of hay as well? They're like, yeah,
yes,
go for it.
Yes, you can. The last two things I have to say is the sound design was really great. I'm sure you experienced how great surround sound is in my basement.
Oh my god, there was so many good movies for that too.
It's surround sound makes a huge difference in immersiveness, in my opinion.
I know we're off topic now because of this, but Hero, just during the Donnie Yen fight with the water drop, I thought there was I left a sink or something upstairs on. And I was like, oh shit. And then I realized.
When I watched 1917 in my basement,
I can imagine that.
This didn't happen in the theater. It happened in my basement, though, where I thought something was crashing through my ceiling. Like, I kept looking up, and I was like, everything's fine. Why do I keep looking up? It sounded like things were coming through.
Yeah,
and
it was insane.
I love my setup.
You've definitely got a solid setup.
Yeah,
for sure.
it makes every movie so much better. But yeah, so the sound design was great. You know, in that sound design, you know, especially when in the blizzardy, windy scenes, I really heard it all. It was really immersive in that sense. And then the last thing I'll say is, you know, towards the end when they're going through the desert, and even in the beginning when people do die, but more people die collectively towards the end when they're in the desert, is how much care they take for each character to who does die. It's not just like, oh, this person died off screen, and then, but you see every single character be comforted by their friends who they went on this journey with as they're passing. And it's just really beautiful. It shows the humanity of, you know, these people who, if it weren't for the Soviet Union being a giant piece of shit, they would have never met each other, and they became like as close as family in a way, through necessity, of course. Maybe outside they would not have gotten along, but
absolutely,
it was just really cool to see the dedication. You know, they, even though they were all dying, they took the time to bury each person. It was just really beautiful, I thought.
See, I just realized that I blanked on this entirely. What happened to Mark Strong's character at all?
It is hinted at but never confirmed. Although, like, strongly hinted at, that Colin Farrell's character killed him and took his coat. Mark Strong's character was never going to go with them because he was just all talking, no action.
See, if I knew Mark Strong's character's name from the get-go, that would have made more sense.
Tabarov, yeah. So Colin Farrell's character, Volka, is wearing a coat, and Jim Sturgis recognizes it as Mark Strong's coat. And he says, "Isn't that Kabarov's coat?" And Colin Farrell says, "Yes." And at first, it's just like, "Oh yeah, I just took it off him." And then as the conversation goes on, he's just like, he was gonna rat on us. It's kind of hinted that Colin Farrell killed him.
Yeah.
But also not 100% confirmed.
Yeah, he took his coat and his food. So
yes, yeah, he did take the food too.
He
yeah,
definitely gave him a little stab.
Yeah, again, not confirmed, but probably did it.
Probably. But yeah, that's honestly all I've got.
Yeah, that's all I got too. So, The Way Back doesn't make it onto the KFR shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. Glenjamin Button, this was your choice. So that means you get to decide first. It will be a shelf boy because it has to be unanimous, of course.
Absolutely.
So if you say no, there's no point in me saying it, but I will still say what I think.
I think it was a decent movie with a long haul of emotion and sadness, and my feet hurt watching it, and I was sitting down the whole time. And I wish it had a better poster.
Yep.
No, it's not. Sorry, it's not going to make the shelf. But
yeah,
I mean, it was a decent movie for most purposes.
Yeah,
but
it's a fine film. It's just not something that I'm really gonna talk a lot about. I might bring it up like once or twice.
Also, on the bottom of the poster, that scene never happens where they're like, "Look at this fucking desert."
Yeah. Well, I think they're talking more about the snow-covered hills.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're all walking away from the desert.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I just saw the guy in the front and was like, oh, he's just looking at the mountains, and it's just, oh no, they're all walking away from them.
I don't even know who's the guy doing that.
I think it's Jim Sturgis' character.
It would have been funny if it was Colin Farrell, because that never happened either.
Yeah. So yeah, The Way Back does not make it on the shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaid, and that brings us to our plugs for this week. Glenn, you know the deal. You go first again.
Absolutely. So for anybody who's watched it, you've probably liked it. At least I know I loved it. The Witcher is coming out with a season 2 in December. I don't remember the exact date. And the trailer just dropped, I believe, today. It was today. And man, am I excited for the new one. Everybody knows I love Henry Cavill. And
a little too much.
A little too much. And I'm okay with that. So I got to enjoy this. I might watch a Henry Cavill movie this week just to celebrate, or watch The Witcher. Who knows? But regardless, my plug is going to be the Witcher Season 2 trailer on YouTube or wherever you want to find it.
So, I'm your destiny?
You're much more than that, Cirilla.
I need to understand some things.
The world is changing. Centra isn't safe for you anymore.
What exactly is Kaer Morhen?
You're home. Finally.
Cool. Yeah, that's that. The Witcher 2 trailer. Mine, I kind of made a little nod to Lord of the Rings before with the 111st episode.
You did.
My plug for this week is going to be Lord of the Rings, all VFX removed, visual effects removed, on the YouTube channel Fame Focus. It kind of just goes through the Lord of the Rings behind the scenes with how they did certain things. If I'm honest, I only watched a minute of this. I'm gonna finish it later.
Oh my god, I am slacking. I rewatched Hobbit too, the first one.
Oh yeah, you did. I remember. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna finish this. But the first minute was really interesting. So that is Lord of the Rings, all VFX removed on Fame Focus. It looks. You're gonna see cool behind the scenes shit, essentially.
Yeah, I'll probably watch that for sure. I've been so like inversed in Lord of the Rings and Hobbit ever since I started reading the book, so I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody has seen the Lord of the Rings trilogy and marvelled at the incredible scale of it all. Tremendous battles with thousands of CG agents, massive magical creatures like Treebeard, Balrog, and Shelob, and of course the famous use of motion capture for the creation of Gollum. These achievements were brilliant, so brilliant that perhaps they have blinded us to the other incredible...
So those are our plugs for this week. That brings us to our assignment for next week. It is the dastardly streaming roulette week. For those of you who don't know, we spin a very real physical roulette wheel with all of the movies that are currently streaming on the services we subscribe to. Could you imagine? That would be a big ass wheel.
That would be a huge list.
So we spin that 3 times, and out of those 3, we pick the best one, and that's what is going to be our choice for next week. So, without any further ado, let's spin this wheel. First spin coming up. The Hidden Fortress. It is a Japanese film, it looks like, from 1958.
58.
Yeah, it's got Toshiro
HBO
Mifune.
Max description.
HBO Max?
Yeah.
Oh, I have HBO Max.
So give me that.
But you'd have to come over probably because it's not really mine.
Yes.
I mean, FBI Agents is totally mine.
Oh, hell.
So do you want me to just spin it again?
No, that's fine.
Okay. So yeah, The Hidden Fortress. It's Akira Kurosawa, the famed Japanese director, starring Toshiro Mifune. I don't know how to pronounce that, but he's in Seven Samurai. Misa Uehara, Minoru Shiaki, and Kamatari Fujiwara. It is about lured by gold. 2 greedy peasants unknowingly escort a princess and her general across enemy lines. That sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah.
2 hours, 6 minutes on HBO Max. That is The Hidden Fortress. That brings us to spin numero 20. The Color of Pomegranates. We're getting some artsy shit right now.
I just put The Color of Pomegranates. 1969 film.
Nice.
It's on Criterion, it looks like.
Criterion?
That's it. It's rented everywhere else.
Yeah, Criterion. It is directed by Sergei Parajanov. Porjanov. Hold on. I'm just double checking to see if... Okay, so Hidden Fortress is also on Criterion Channel.
Oh, perfect.
I remember having seen it on Criterion Channel, so you can watch it on that as well as HBO Max. Color of Pomegranates also on Criterion Channel, directed by Sergei Parajanov, starring Sofiko Chiarelli, Melkin Alakayan. Oh, I don't know why I said Kenya.
Alakayan.
Villain Galishtian and Jogi Gegachkori. Oh boy. It is a surreal biopic of Armenian poet Sayat Nova depicted through non-narrative amalgamations of images hailed as revolutionary by Mikhail Yartanov. That is definitely Eastern European at the very least. So as The Color of Pomegranates, that is on Criterion. Both films are on Criterion so far. And that brings us to spin number 3. High and Low.
1963?
And that is also on Criterion Channel.
Damn. What the hell?
High and Low.
Did IMDb change their page up? Like in the middle of us doing stuff?
I don't know why.
Because it looks completely different for me now.
Oh, no, it's been that way for a while.
Oh.
You talking about like the I don't know.
I have like a night mode box now, and it's like the photos and videos are on the right and the posters on the left.
Oh, interesting. So anyway, High and Low, also a Japanese film on Criterion Channel.
Akira Kurosawa.
Also Akira Kurosawa. Also starring Toshiro Mifune, Yutaka Sada, Tatsuya Nakadai, and Kyoko Kagawa. An executive of a shoe company becomes victim of extortion when his chauffeur's son is kidnapped and held for ransom. That is 2 hours and 23 minutes. Color of Pomegranates is 1 hour and 19 minutes. And Hidden Fortress is 2 hours 6 minutes. So we got Akira Kurosawa, Sergei Parjanov, and Akira Kurosawa, all on Criterion Channel. So get yourself Criterion Channel. It is great. I highly suggest people get it regardless. What are you leaning?
I am actually leaning the Hidden Fortress on this one.
I am as well. Although I'll probably...
It's going to be that, High and Low, and then Color of Pomegranates for me.
Yeah, I agree. So we should just go with the Hidden Fortress.
There it is.
All right. So our assignment for next week is the Hidden Fortress on Criterion Channel. I really cannot. If you are a film buff in like old films or rare films or just like a lot of foreign films, I cannot recommend Criterion Channel enough. There's just some shit on there that I've never even heard of, and that is hard for me to find films I've never heard of before.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Hidden Fortress on Criterion Channel. That will do it until next week when we watch that. Because that's how time works.
We're going to do that.
We're going to do that.
We're going to do it.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. As always, you can check out our website, www.KeystoneFilmReview.com. On Instagram, Keystone_Film_Review. Twitter, Keystone_Film. Facebook, Keystone Film Review. YouTube, Keystone Film Review. And on Letterboxd, I am Mike, KFR.
And I'm Glenn, KFR.
And that will do it until next week when we watch Akira Kurosawa's The Hidden Fortress. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. What the hell?